Hey, Ronnie Jr.
Talk about the consistency. Like, what has been some of the obstacles you've faced in your life? We talk about the young stuff in Florida, and then coming to being a fresh-eyed, LA girl and some opportunities. Has there been some moments you want to share that have been a little more rough on that journey, and a little bit more like, where you have to second guess yourself? You've always been a
Yes.
kind girl, but you definitely still are human. Tell me some about that experience.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned before, when I came here, everything happened for me so quickly with my series, with the movie first, then my TV series, did 3 seasons of that. Um, and it just went so fast. Then after that show, I did a couple recurrings, couple guest stars. Then I got another show called Hit the Floor, and that was on VH1. Did 3 seasons of that. Did some guest stars, recurrings. I was simultaneously working on American Latino, or if before that, uh, like KTLA type, whatever network, but something hosting. Regardless, I did ABC Family Lounge. So I was just always working, always on TV, always doing something I loved. Then Hit the Floor ended for me, and simultaneously I was going through a divorce. And I think a lot of people don't know that, and some people do, but that was the hardest time of my life because it was almost like, and American Latino ended as well, for me. And so it was like everything that I kind of had identified myself with was done, like the actor, the host, the wife.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, and a lot of times I always had a problem with this before. And because of this experience, it almost highlighted it when people define you for what you do, and sometimes you do it to yourself, right? Like, I'm this actress, or I'm this host, or I'm this doctor, I'm this lawyer, like. And I always felt like, I'm like, that's my job and that's what I do, but that's not who I am, right? And that time in my life was just kind of like a huge light on that whole mind. I don't know if I can curse on here, but mind fuck, of like, of like, what is going on? Like, who am I? What do I want to do? Who am I outside of all these things? So I had to really like just kind of find myself again, right? And just really dig deep into what I like, who I am outside of all these different things.
Yeah, and with that quietness too, you
Mm.
not only are feeling like, oh my God, it's so quiet. Those were the things that sort of defined me. While I loved them, they were a definition. You also are in an industry where youth is important. Unfortunately, gosh, probably harder for you women, of course, which is again unfortunate. So you really got to kind of look at. I always think, I will say, admittingly, guys, we kind of take that for granted. Like, I think there's a little more leniency with our time clock as far as like,
Sure.
you're either booking or you're not booking. Whereas for women, it's unfortunately challenging. So I feel like you were going through all that, and while you are, of course, just as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as I've always known you to be, there are probably those moments you're sitting in that room quiet, like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like what does that look like booking? Because now, I can't book the teen roles, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm so glad Disney came when it came.
Mm.
And I was like, remember reading in the trades that like it got picked up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my, wait, that's not the show that Val is on. So that was really exciting. And then I go to your Instagram, and then like you posted, and I was like, oh my gosh, couldn't happen to a better person.
Mm.
And the best thing about you is working with you has always been fun. Like, man, she behind the scenes to what I've seen, it's just the one job we've worked together. But no, you real cool. You were cool to you were cool to work with. And you did those little subtle nuances where you would just ask people about them, which doesn't happen a lot. A lot of times you're at work environments, and this is across the board. This could be you working at the CVS for all we care. A lot of people talk about themselves but don't listen, and Val will always try to listen and ask questions, and I always thought that was very sincere. Val, I want to ask you, what do you think as far as entertainers? We talk highly about J-Lo, but what entertainers are out there, performers, singers, whatever you want it to be, actresses, that are doing it right? Because this business has peaks and valleys. I look to like a Rosario Dawson type who hits every different type of role, which is very important. I like that a lot, philanthropic, and also a level head. Who are some of the people that you look at in this industry that you're like, they got it going on? I like the way they move.
Man, I recently watched da, 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 the what's the is it the newsroom? No, wait, what's it called? with Reese Witherspoon.
Oh,
Um,
well, she's on Big Little Lies, but then she's on another one with
uh,
Kerry Washington.
right. I saw that. That's the fire one. Something
Yeah.
about some fires. But no.
Oh, she's on Good Morning with Jennifer Aniston.
Show.
Yes.
The morning show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I recently watched that, and then she has the fires one. Then of course, yeah, all the other things that she's been doing. And she was never somebody on my radar ever. Not. I mean, she's adorable, and she's done some cute films and stuff. But I just, after watching all these different things, and then I've started following her on social media, and like, she's just somebody that just randomly came into my radar of like, oh, I really respect you and I like what you represent. So that, like, as soon as you said that, I don't know why she came into my head. Obviously everybody knows I love J-Lo. Who else? Like, I don't know. I can't really.
Yeah. Well, it could be one person. I mean, the reason I asked specifically is because, you know, the thing about it is it's not as, you know, the consumer, let's say, who's just watching it on the couch. Sometimes they don't realize like all the hard work that's put into like Mandy Moore's, you know, cultivating that career. Like that's why it's inspiring to me. So when I talk to people like you, I want to know, pick your brain as far as like, who do you look and say, wow, they've really managed to continue to do it. And it's not just about success, because it's also about, you know, your reputation. And so there's some people out there, and I think it's a worthwhile conversation to have. And again, unfortunately,
actually, that you even said, like Mandy Moore, Sandra Bullock, I love her and her career. And she's kind of like, you don't really hear too much about her. Not that it matters if you do or you don't, but there's something about her and her style that I don't know, I just really like. And Mandy, she's from Florida, and she's had her ups and downs with her career, with her acting or music or lack thereof, or, you know, people, where'd Mandy go? And she's
hard pressed to find somebody who's only had, you know, an accelerated career and not be a jerk. You know what I mean? So these are the conversations I enjoy.